As I said goodbye to my family and walked through security, I thought to myself, I'm alone. I'm all by myself. I was not accustomed to being alone without guidance or anyone to be lost with me. On my way to my layover in San Francisco, I told myself, you have to be outgoing, and it's only awkward if you make it. After 2 hours, I was sitting with 16 other kids from around the world who would soon become my companions on this 6-week adventure across the world. I was flustered, eager, ready to go on this adventure. Benny. We landed in Beijing. The humidity and smog hit me like a truck. It was so surreal. There was no way I was in China. We had our first meal. There were several dishes, and we anticipated to devour it all. The locals laughed at us, saying not even they could finish it all. Communicating with the waitress was a game of charades, so I knew I was in for a ride this month. The more I looked around, the more comfortable I got. It was like all my nervousness vanished, and all that was left was excitement. I was determined to take the city by the horns, and I intended to conquer it. Vidi. I went to a desert in Inner Mongolia, because if you didn't know, China has a desert. I anxiously rode a camel and overcame my fear of heights and slid down a sand dune. I lived in the grasslands, where I rode horses, lived in yurts, danced with locals, and did some yoga with some incredibly flexible old ladies. While in Mongolia, my body didn't like sleeping on cement, and I grew sick. I laid in bed most of my duration in Mongolia. My friends nursed me back to health. I took an overnight train to Chengde, where I met my host family. Only my host sister, whose English name was Oprah, spoke English. We went all over the city. We sung karaoke, we went to temples and had a picnic, we saw Transformers in Mandarin, and we even went to a club. My group and I started to hike up a mountain. And just to let you know, I've never climbed a mountain prior to this. As my legs dragged in front of me, a growing pain pinged my legs. I was in such pain, I felt like the lagger of the group. I was overwhelmed with emotions. I began to weep to myself. But a friend pushed me forward and began to cheer me on. Slowly but surely, I got to the top. Excitement and accomplishment showered over me. In order to find yourself, you must first lose yourself in the moment. I got lost in a taxi, went to a street market and almost ate a scorpion, fought off merchants, and spilled ice cream on a stranger just because I was trying to get a good shot. I climbed the Great Wall of China and had an intense water fight with some random guys I just met. After the 6 weeks was over, I never wanted to leave. This trip opened my eyes and let me use adventure to overcome my fear of being alone. I was able to find out who I am without my family and close friends, and how I am when I am put into an unknown territory. I always strive for excitement, and getting lost, that's the best way to find an adventure. VC.